All right, well, welcome to episode 7 of Giant Size Spectacular. My name is John Hervey.
Oh.
It's not working. The cues aren't working. I'm pointing at Johnny. His name is Johnny Wales. I think you forgot his name.
David Green. Good afternoon. Good evening.
And who, me?
Yeah, you.
Oh, Melvin Allen. Mel Allen, also known as Hex Allen Comics.
Yeah, people won't know. They're like, who's Melvin? We know Hex Allen.
And Melvin is a wedgie, so.
You know. But man, so I've known Mel for a long time. Mel and I guess I've known all these guys for a very long time. Mel and I were at Motown Animation together back in the mid 90s.
Oh man. Who knew that we've been nostalgic about the 90s?
Oh my goodness! You know who'd have thunk it? And
that's how we all met. We can't not be, you know.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
It just takes aging. That's all. It takes.
Yeah.
Because when did I meet you guys, David and Johnny?
It would have been not Undercover. It was at Comics Factory, the first location.
First one, yeah.
Because I remember you were talking about Motown Comics, and there was a book that came out that we all really liked, and you knew the guy. And I don't think it had more than a couple issues, maybe only one issue. It was called Casual Heroes.
Oh, my dude, Kevin McCarthy.
We everyone at the shop loved that book. And you were like, oh yeah, I know that guy. And we all we just thought it was the coolest book. Am I right? It's only like one issue, right?
Only one issue came out. They actually had a couple of issues produced. So I saw the proofs of, I think, 3 issues. The first 3 issues they had in proofs. Mm-hmm. And I know he changed artists during the production. Help me out, Meg. I know Steve Rude did some work.
He did the cover. Yeah, you should grab the cover. Grab the cover and show it. Anyone's listening, if you're out there listening, you get a chance, you find this book.
I'm showing it right now, John.
You got it? Okay, yeah. Good.
Yeah, just
I have a couple of copies of it actually.
Yeah,
this
is from a scan.
That book is how I remember meeting you, John. Everyone at the shop loved that book when it came out. We were all like, "What is this? This is so cool."
That is still one of my favorite indie books.
I don't know if you're John. I mean, I don't know if you're aware, but McCarthy, the kid who wrote the book, you know, he was a little kid. I mean, I guess he was in his 20s. I call it.
They were all kids. They were just kids out of New York.
Yeah, we were all kids, and he was writing this book. He had green hair.
Yep.
Remember? And I remember one day they went out for lunch. I think Chuck went out with them for lunch, and they got into a car accident, or the McCarthy kid got into a car accident, and he had a concussion, and they were trying to keep him awake. And when they brought him back to the office to make sure he didn't fall asleep, and you know.
My question was at that point, who was driving? Because all those kids were from New York, and I don't think any of them had a car.
Maybe that's why. And remember, this is a Steve Rude cover. Look at that.
Yeah, look at this. Steve Rude. Kevin McCarthy, he's a good dude. Kevin McCarthy. He did some subsequent work, but this is one of my favorite indie books.
Yeah. That's so cool. I didn't remember when David said that until you showed the cover, because I was like, yeah, I totally love that book. And it was one of the few books that I saved when I got rid of my collection. And it's somewhere in storage right now. But that was an amazing book.
Yeah, big time. What's up, Eric the Guapo?
Hey, what's up, Eric?
He said Hex, aka Teddy Pendergrass.
you got what I need.
Nice. No, so that's kind of funny. Yeah, that is when we met. Good job. Good job, Dave.
No, it was all at undercover at a comics factory in Pasadena, and you were coming in and you were telling us about Motown Comics, and we all loved that book. Everyone in the shop loved that book. Yeah, and we were like, "When is the next one coming out?" And it never did.
Never.
Yeah, great book. You know,
if I had known that, I would have taken those proofs. I hope Kevin got them at least. Yeah. Unfortunately, there were a number of books that didn't get completed. Trouble Man never got completed.
I remember Trouble Man. I remember that.
Yeah.
They tried to wrap it up in a 4th issue, but Dennis Cowan did a lot of the layouts and some of the and Dennis, dude, that dude was, he's not dead. That dude, that dude's a genius.
He was at the Long Beach show we went to.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but we didn't get a chance to. There were too many people around. We didn't get a chance to speak to him.
I'm sharing again.
Let me see. Yes.
Oh,
ye old Trouble Man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate that, Eric. The first 3, that's all you get. The 4th was in proofs, and those are another set of proofs I should have taken. But I'll tell you, Chuck Drost's work is beautiful. But Dennis Cowan that dude. Even at that, he was a master.
Yeah.
Absolute master of the craft.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
certainly was.
No, I think the '90s get a bad rap. I remember the '90s very fondly.
As do I.
The comics in the '90s, I remember them very fondly.
Yeah,
I absolutely do.
It's funny because it feels like what I was into in the '90s and what gets carried out at the time is not the stuff that I look as fondly on now. Like, because there was a lot of independence that I didn't always jump on right away. Like a lot of these are like beautiful artwork on this, and it's the thing that people don't think about it now. People don't reference this stuff too much, but this is like the magic of the '90s. The environment that this stuff was able to come up in makes it pretty special.
Yeah. To Eric's question, I had actually had a conversation with Chuck about that. It was a number of years ago. So I think Motown owns the IP. I think like Chuck at one point was trying to get the IP back in his, it was supposed to go back to him. I don't know if that ever happened. Same thing for Casual Heroes for Kevin McCarthy. But at the end of the day, I think Motown owns all this. Yeah. Crush, Man Against Time.
Yeah, this is what I worked on.
Hey, Corey, what's up, buddy?
Hey, Corey Barton, what's up?
Yeah, you worked on the Crush.
Yeah, I did some color I was on the color team on the issue 2 in particular, and then I think issue 3.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was only there for like at least, at the most a couple of months, as an intern. So
yeah, and Chris Sotomayor's little coloring bay.
Yeah. Yeah, he trained me.
Yeah.
I was trained by Christopher Sotomayor.
Yeah, I think he had he loved Gotchaman, and I love Gotchaman too.
Yeah.
And he had like all the Gotchaman on VHS.
Nice.
And he lent it to me, and I don't think I ever got it back to him.
Oh,
you're one of those guys, huh? I've lent out so many VHS tapes and then never got them back. Somehow an excuse.
Dude, it's worse than that. I think my mom taped some soaps over them. No joke. Because my mom taped over my Thundercats, and I was almost in tears.
Yeah, because when that stuff used to
you're grown. What's wrong with you? I'm like, you taped over my Thundercats.
That stuff would go off the air and then never come back.
Yeah, I was like, I got home every day to tape that. Because like it was like even when I set like the VHS for recording, it was kind of janky. Like 75% of the times it would record, and the other times it wouldn't. So like I couldn't get home in time for Robotech, and so many times it just wouldn't record, and I was just like,
"No, I will not record for you today, Hal."
Yeah, exactly.
Or like you're at the end of your tape, so it starts recording, you get 10 minutes in, and then it just stops. It rewinds. You're just like, I didn't realize I only had 10 minutes left.
It's rewinding, and you're just screaming no.
Yes.
I think I may have even recorded over an episode of Robotech doing that exact thing where I set it to record for a half hour because it would come on as I was on my way out the door for school, and I would record. And I think I once let it go, and then it automatically rewound. And I said, "Oh, I got plenty of tape," and I recorded over.
Those are tear jerking.
Oh, we have it so good now.
I know. Oh man, my kids, they just don't understand it. I tell them about when I wanted to watch cartoons. My son's like, "Well, then why don't you just watch it?" I'm like,
"You couldn't."
I'm like, "You had to wait till it came on." He was just like,
"Huh?
What are you talking about?"
Yeah, it's my son with the iPad. My son with the iPad right now, and I just set the thing to learning, and then he wanted to give it back. I said, "No, you got to learn your alphabets. You got to learn your letters now, man." And he's like, "No." He's trying to hand it back to me like it's broken. I'm like, "No, it's like you got to learn your letters, dude."
So, Dave, are you able to show us what you were working on?
I don't know if you can even see it. It's I'm doing this Macross piece, and it's gonna be hard to see.
Okay, hold it there.
Oh, Invid. Yeah, I see.
Invid, yes.
Is that Rook?
No, it's actually a Valkyrie in one of the Ventrati battle armors.
Oh, okay.
This is first generation.
Yeah, this is the first.
It's kind of light on the screen.
Yeah. So it's just so light because I blocked it in. I'm going to start doing the finishes on it. Hopefully I can start this weekend. But like I just got a new PlayStation, so probably.
Good night.
So yeah, probably not happening.
I've been playing way too much Modern Warfare.
So Mel, show us. I'm excited. Robotech is a great segue into Nephilim Squadron. So show us what you got going on, man. I saw the magic in your hands.
Oh, where did I put it? Oh, right here. Yeah, this is the special preview edition. It's actually it's more than just a preview. It's the first chapter of what's currently on demand on Indiegogo right now. And this is the 36 pages of spectacular,
nice,
spectacular far future action. And it was a quite a humbling experience, getting this done and getting this out. But that's Nephilim Squadron. It's what can I say?
Well, I remember when your campaign first came out, and it had a totally different focus.
Yeah. That was the original bookmark campaign. It was called The Art of Shield Net Sword, and it was it's artwork based on a mobile game I'm working on, and it had started with the trading cards of characters from the game and prints and bookmarks, and then a 14-page ash can of this one, of this. So this and then I don't know, people were kind of confused by it, and since and people are still getting all that stuff, I just have to sort it out, and that's going to be a Herculean task, because there's 9 characters, so I have like 9 bookmarks and pens
Yeah.
and trading cards to finish with the printing, sorting out with the printer, and then finalizing the printouts, and then sorting them out, and then mailing them out.
Yeah.
But somewhere through that first part of the campaign, people were telling me I should focus on the comic book more. So I pivoted and started adding more, working on more pages for the comic and pumping it out. So it ended up being the whole first chapter, and then.
Do you want to share your campaign screen while you talk about it?
Oh yeah, KoolAid.
Oh yeah.
So
I think I got in trouble at school for yelling "oh yeah" while I was in class because I wanted because the teacher was being like mad boring, and I wanted the KoolAid Man to come through the wall. I was like, "oh yeah."
And you got your dopamine hit from the kids laughing in the classroom, and then
it's funny until you go to the principal's office.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have gone to the principal's office if everybody hadn't started laughing.
Oh, I know. It's just like when Will Smith started laughing at what Chris Rock said, and then he saw the look on Jada's face, and he knew what he had to do.
Well, he should have just slapped himself. He was laughing.
Yeah, I know exactly. He's guilty. So yeah, this is Nephilim Squadron. This is a mind-bending hard science fantasy graphic novel.
Mm-hmm.
Oops. Uh-oh, that's backer information. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Yikes.
Secret sauce.
Oh no. Edit that out. That's backer information. I didn't know that was going to. So yeah, this is let's take a look at the trailer for a second, can we?
Let's see. You have no skills with this. Hopefully there's sound.
Hey, you, sci-fi fan. Are you finally ready to have your head explode? Never before seen sci-fi action. A strange new world. Exotic technology. Kick-ass characters. And a story that will turn your mind inside out. Nephilim Squadron, Volume 1. Available now on Indiegogo.
Yes, sir.
That's cool.
So yeah, that's it's what it's about. It's about a clone pilot in the 28th century fighting a war on a planet colonized by humans, and the colony of humans has eventually turned into a civilization over time, and they're fighting a war against these native species that are rapidly evolving, and then the pilots they belong to an organization called SIF, or Soul Interstellar Forces, and they're a third party outside of the colonists and the aliens, and they're coming in to prosecute the war against the aliens for the humans who are being wiped out. But they find out soon enough that there's some shenanigans. Is it okay to say the word shenanigans? People don't like that word.
I hope so. I mean, I say that word at work. Nobody says anything. Shenanigans.
So yeah, there's the civilization on the planet that is run by a dictator, Seaton Kokar, and he's the big bad of the story. And he's doing like experiments on the aliens, and which is one of the reasons why they're attacking the humans and trying to wipe them out. But yeah, there's a lot of political intrigue and character development. Taru, the main character, he's a clone who also desires a soul, but he has a greater destiny than even that. And here's some spectacular action pages of aerial dogfights, two pages ahead. This is the intro.
Is it okay that I have like the Robotech music going through my head while it's
that would be great, but there are no transforming mechs. There are some mechs on the ground, but it's not really a focus on mechs. They're just one of the many technologies. There's a lot of biotechnology, weird sort of. That's where the like heavy metal magazine influence comes in.
Nice.
And influence from Jodorowsky and Mobius. I know sometimes I would market this as manga, but it's actually not manga. It's influenced by that, but it's more of its own thing. And here I have a stretch goal at 5,000. We can unlock this awesome pinup print of one of the main characters, Mecha Mahia, and it's drawn by Michael T. I don't know if you know him of High Desert Comics. It's a great independent artist.
Nice.
And at 8,000, I'd love to unlock these awesome squadron patches of the Nephilim Squadron and the other squadrons that are in the book. Vimana Squadron, they're bombers, and these are all based on mythological flying machines or creatures like
really?
Vimana from India. It was an ancient flying machine that mythological sort of thing, and they're in the book, they're the bombers, and their motto is "Death from Above." And then you have the Quetzal Squadron.
Sounds Aztec.
Yeah, based on Quetzalcoatl, and they're multi-role fighters, and they're I keep having to I have to change this. Their motto is "Nowhere is safe, not there is no escape."
Okay.
And the Lung Ta Squadron is transport and escort, and their motto is "Anywhere and Everywhere," based on the Lung Ta wind horse of Tibetan mythology.
Nice, man. I like that.
I'm a moron.
No, I like what you're talking about. I dig that.
Too much time on my hands. And this is my YouTube channel, Hexalon Comics. Please subscribe, and I've got some fun stuff going on there.
Indeed.
But yeah, let's check out this first. Check out this. This is the Dan Plagle cover. Everybody knows him as Boob Dan online.
I wonder why.
Yeah.
No question.
The Macross the movie. Do you remember Love?
I had that book.
Yes.
Yes. It's classic.
I had a couple of those Macross books. Talk about buying expensive books you can't read.
Oh my God! I spent so much money as a teenager. There was. Remember, I don't know if you were around in the 80s. On downtown LA, in downtown LA on 6th Street, there was a shop called Books Nippon, and they had all kinds of manga. Before it was hip and cool, and I take the bus to downtown just to go there. And there was this really attractive older. I guess she was Japanese, a woman. Another incentive to go there.
I was going to say, you going for the books, or you going for the lady that's selling?
Well, yeah, that and my Go-Go 13, thick books that, all of which got stolen over time. I don't know how these things got away from me, but I've lost so many little books, like that. And
there was also a spot in J-Town. I don't know if it's the same spot, but it was like. I forgot there was a hotel, began with an O. I can't remember the name of it. And there was a plaza that was also connected with it. And on the second floor of the plaza, there's like a curry house, but then there was like a bookstore. But this bookstore was just like manga. And it was packed. And this is back in the day.
Yeah. I don't know if I haven't been back there too recently, but before the pandemic, that was all there. I think the Curry House is gone. David informed me.
Oh, that makes me sad.
But
the Curry House is gone. But oddly enough, they opened another Curry House. I guess it's the same owners, but it's actually near your house, John, in Torrance. It's Torrance. It's actually we went there. Me and a buddy of mine went there a couple months ago, and it was a curry house.
Nice.
Yeah. So I mean, sucks that they left Little Tokyo though. But the secret has been out in Little Tokyo for a while, so it's like it's a little too crowded now.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Too many hipsters.
Yeah. Right.
That's pretty much California now.
Oh, and these little books like the Macross book there. Mm-hmm. I have the Megazone 23 book. I had part 1 and part 2, but one day I took part 2 to school.
Oh,
and that part 2 had that famous sex scene. With quite a bit of nudity, and
teacher got it.
I guess it was revolutionary for back then. It was like 1986, I think.
The teacher got a hold of it, or what?
No, I had it out on the by the lunch benches, and showing it to our group, me and my homies, and then there was this one kid who was like kind of outside of our group, and he saw us flipping through it. I was holding it, flipping through it, and showing the nude scenes, and this guy. He's just like lost, and he's like, whoa, and he like grabs it, and like all the pages like fly out because these pages are freaking glued in there. They're pretty precariously glued in.
Yeah.
So that one was gone. So he was dead to me.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll never find him. And I was just kidding. But I still have part 1. The one done by the character designer. I forget his. It's hard to say the name. Character designer of Macross.
Mikimoto.
Yeah, Mikimoto.
Yeah.
So. So this is the book.
I'm excited for it, man. I'm excited for it.
Yeah. Oh, and there's the original art stuff. Comes with the books and all the physical tiers come with the digital copy and bookmark.
Yeah.
Have you been doing shows?
Here and there, not like as much as I want to be, because I, have a day job and family that. Anybody here? They're always bothering me.
How dare they?
They're not here.
We're right there with you.
Yeah.
So how did that? I'm curious on how it worked when you kind of had to take that shift from offering kind of the trading cards and the bookmarks first, and then did you relaunch the campaign? Was it just
No, I just renamed it and changed some of the imagery.
So does Indiegogo? I've backed some Kickstarters. Does Indiegogo have a kind of a different format? Because I know with a Kickstarter, it's real like 1 month, and you've got that time to get it funded, and if you don't, it's pretty much wiped. But is it a little different with Indiegogo? Is there a bigger window of time to?
Yeah, you can extend it for another 30 days, or you could start off with 60 days to fund. And if it funds, it goes into the in-demand period where you could, you could still take orders. And but then there's like the fixed goal and the flexible goal. I don't know. Does Kickstarter have that? Fixed?
I don't know.
I think they've got a just a goal, and then what are the add-ons that happen?
Oh, nice.
Crying Freeman, man, that was the stuff.
Oh yeah.
There's
some elements of Crying Freeman in the book, more towards the end.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that's the other Macross cover. Yeah. Maria. Mobius. It's funny because I've been listening to the soundtrack pretty much. That's why I started doing a Macross piece, because last week I was on like some intense storyboard jobs where I couldn't even leave the house, and I had Macross on in the background, just listening to the music. So then I put the rip I have on. I put that on, and then I was watching some of that. But that is interesting that here we are looking at this stuff. Yeah, that's the coolest stuff.
Yeah, by far. Yeah. So yeah, Eric's right. That's one of the nice features about Indiegogo. I mean, I still have a couple of campaigns. The Black Tiger one is still up. It's already been fulfilled, but some people are still getting the books through there. And then I need to fulfill my newest one. But I'm actually going to start moving over to a web store. So I'm gonna do Shopify. So I don't know. I don't know I think I need a different strategy because I'm toying with not doing any more campaigns and trying to focus more on the Shopify store. We'll see. I don't know. I don't know. I try things. Some things work. Some things don't.
I know.
My last campaign was not stellar.
Who's to say what's going to work at any, what's going to be lightning in a bottle?
Yeah, and if you can even recreate it the next time around.
Yeah.
These are cool, man.
I think you really need to just create controversy around yourself. That's the way to do it.
Yeah, that's not me.
I know, me neither. It's just like I say some outrageous shit sometimes, but. Yeah. I can't be like a relentlessly making hate. No, not hate, but just hating on like properties, other Lord of the Rings and Star Wars. It's crap, but still, it's like to go through the effort of making a video about it every day.
It's a lot. It's a lot. I mean, that's
I
not. I
totally agree with these guys, but
Yeah. But it's just like,
do you expect me to? Why should I? You really want me to throw my hat into this just to be another add on another and what's the term?
I was gonna say dingleberry, but
well, I think the thing is for me personally is like we're not everything's gonna be for you, so. You don't have to watch. I don't. That's what I don't. I guess these guys are getting a lot of views because a lot of people are watching them trash stuff. But I just.
They're making money from it. I guess.
They're actually people are getting a lot of views. Yeah. My hope is eventually for my content and your content and all of our content to stand on its own. And for people to back it I appreciate that, Eric, to back it for what it is.
Like Tiger's dope.
Yeah.
Well,
there's more coming, man. The next story's just being colored right now.
All right.
So.
I backed Magna finally. I'm looking forward to that.
I appreciate you, man. No, what you're saying is true, Eric.
Cool.
It's not a dumb strategy because it does attract people, like you said. So it's not a dumb strategy at all. I don't think I have the personality or the bandwidth for it.
Yes. Yeah. I don't have that. It's just exhausting to me. Just listening to people talk about.
I just think the simplest solution is, I don't need to watch this. If it's not for you.
Yeah,
and I understand how it's tough. Because when you see something that you love, and you're like, man.
But it's a weird thing because you get to a point where you realize that the characters that we like and these stories we like, they're all products, and they're trying to figure out ways to sell the product to everyone. So the thing you like in its early form still exists. You can always go back to that one.
Oh, with all this being said,
there's an echo. Thanks. I didn't know if it was just my headset.
Uh-oh. Well, with all that being said, I will be doing a video on She-Hulk.
Well, here's my excuse. And I still do the echo. I don't know what to do about this echo. Does
echo?
Yeah, I'm trying to see where the echo's coming from.
Is it me? Uh-oh.
I don't know.
You might be the only one.
Here, I'll mute myself. Here, you guys talk. I'm gonna mute myself.
Hello, Governor.
I think I'm at a point where crashing other people's work, whether it's
No, now you're going in and out.
Oh.
You're just your audio is just dropping in and out as you're speaking.
Yeah, you know what's funny about that, Eric? I saw somebody send a message on Twitter, and they showed the John Byrne when she was jump roping. If any of you ever seen that, it looks like she's nude. She's jump roping, but the rope is in such a way that you can't see like her private parts. But she's actually not nude. That's the thing. But it's like they showed that, then they showed the twerking, and somebody was like, okay, yeah, maybe she would do that. But you know what? I'm going to show this book because this has the most glorious She-Hulk page ever.
Yeah, from the She-Hulk graphic novel.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was 85.
That's
John
my
Byrne.
favorite. The Sensational She-Hulk.
Yeah.
And that graphic novel has that page after she's been shot. And I was just like, you see She-Hulk in a way you've never seen her before or ever will again.
Shot?
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean? With the bullet?
The bullets. Post bullets.
I don't think that was in there in this one.
It was, man.
He wasn't shot with bullets.
Yes.
I just read it.
Keep going.
Oh, at the end?
Nope. It's towards. Keep going.
I recently read this.
It's a great read, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, next page.
This guy.
Next page.
Yeah, the creepy blonde guy, right? Pum, 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 pum. All right, well, you don't see anything.
What are you talking about, man?
You just see him shooting into the area
the
where
bottom panel, man.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, right there.
Come on, man.
I'm looking for dents. Oh, okay. Yeah, there's no damage on her body.
Nor should there be.
Okay, I thought you meant there was like bullet holes on her, but her clothes are shredded again.
Yeah, Eric. John Byrne did Sensational She-Hulk, and it is sensational. It is worth if you can find that, it is worth picking up.
Mm-hmm. I know.
And it's an oversized graphic novel too.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful work.
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
Actually, that's the only She-Hulk thing I have. That's all you need.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah. So.
It looks great though, Hex.
Are we done with this? So, did you guys watch the Incredible Hulk with as per our homework assignment?
Yes. And that is the next topic. It's the incredible Ed Norton's The Incredible Hulk.
Ed Norton's.
It's Ed Norton's. It is Ed Norton's. Yeah, I hadn't watched that in probably a decade, and it was really fun to watch again.
It's hard to believe that this is 14 years old. This
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And my only I guess it would maybe a little I wouldn't call it a gripe, but something I just really noticed about the Hulk in particular in this movie is that he just really looks greasy to me. It's like a greasy Hulk.
It's okay for Hulk to look a little greasy.
Yeah, he was on the run,
Yeah.
Constantly sweating.
So I'm sure we'd all look a little greasy if we were on the run. Can't hear you, Dave.
I turned my mic off?
Yeah.
Oh.
I wasn't sure if it was my mic, but I unplugged my mic, so now I'm just using the computer mic.
Okay.
So. Yeah, but I saw that one. I remember that one coming out. I remember seeing it, and then we went and saw it again. We liked it. We saw it at the Cinerama Dome when that was a thing, and then we saw it again later because we liked it so much. Because I missed the one that came before this one, but then when I saw what he looked like, I don't know that I've ever watched that other one all the way through.
Yeah, the other one it gets very tough by the end of the Ang Lee one. There's a lot of odd choices in that one that I still don't know they ever really explained. Fighting gamma radiated poodles is just, I'm not sure it's the right way to go.
Oh, you mean the Ang Lee one?
Yeah, the Ang Lee one. Yeah,
the Ang Lee movie was, I think if it wasn't a Hulk movie, it actually would have done better. I mean, it was something different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was artistic.
I remember the poodles, and I was like, wait a minute, what? But it was pointed out to me that, and I can't be sure, someone pointed out to me that may have happened in some of the books at one point. You know, that they actually did fight some dogs or something. But I thought for a movie, I was like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah.
But so there's that. But like going back to this one, I like that it felt like the show. I like that the opening origin sequence happens in the credit sequence.
Yes.
You know? And then he's in Brazil. And I think what I really like about it is each time they show the Hulk, they level up the action, because first time he's running and he fights a squad of guys. Small squad, and then the next time he fights like an army, and then the next time he fights, if anybody hasn't seen this, I'm sorry, I've just ruined it for you. But it's been 14 years.
Yeah, seriously, if you haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, but I like at the end he fights another, like enhanced guy, Abomination, hey, if you've watched She-Hulk, you'll see Abominations on there, right?
Yeah.
Right?
So what do you guys say to Eric's question here? Is it true that the Hulk and the MCU Hulk is the same one?
I don't think they're the same ones.
I think it is. I mean, the Tony Stark shows up at the end.
I don't think.
I mean, and it's Robert Downey Jr.'s Tony Stark.
I feel like they did a decent job of not necessarily conflicting with this movie in the MCU, but they've also kind of ignored it. I mean, they have the same General Ross carryover. They never bring back Betty. So I feel like they kind of picked and chose which parts to kind of treat as canon. And I mean, I remember hearing some of the stories when Ed Norton had come in to this project, and they gave him a lot of creative freedom. He worked with the director to rewrite the script, which, the funny thing is, being a creative, you kind of hear that the actor comes in, gets hired, and wants to change their script. So for a writer, that can be kind of tough. But I also felt like they cared a lot about this subject matter, and they put a lot into it that made it a really good movie. I don't know, though, that they were going to let Ed Norton have this kind of creative freedom moving forward. And by the time you get to Avengers, I think they'd already pretty much started solidifying their creative strategy and who has the power and all that. Because Ed Norton, I'd heard a few things where you sign up for, as an actor, you sign up for a movie, and you're not just signing up for one film, you're signing up for the media show, everything that goes along with it, and that doesn't sound like a guy like Ed Norton wants to be part of all that circus. Yeah,
that's true. Well, the one thing, because Eric, you probably aren't going to watch She-Hulk, but there is the Abomination. And the same guy, Blonsky, the same guy that played him in the movie, plays the Abomination. Even though the Abomination looks different, it's the same guy. And they kind of give that through line. So it's almost like they keep certain things and other things they don't keep. You know, because one of the things that I thought was interesting at the end of the movie is it seemed like Banner almost had some level of control.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because when he you know, kind of smiled and then his eyes go green.
Yeah.
Yeah. That definitely, yeah. So I totally agree. I really think that they kind of picked which parts of this would still work in as the MCU was evolving. They don't, and they definitely don't talk about it anymore.
I guess it's kind of the same thing like when DC does its reboots. You know, it'll be like, well, this is still part of it, but this never happened. Mm-hmm. You know, so they just kind of.
You could always go the multiverse route. Hey, it's
exactly
multiverse. This is 626 or 616. 666.
I think it's funny because as David was saying that there is definitely a little nod to the TV show, which as a kid growing up, that show was absolutely amazing. It was I love waited till that came would come on and we'd go watch. My whole family would watch that, and so it was kind of nice, and they kind of almost patterned it in a way that travel and he's helping people, and it's the kind of thing that showed it for me. I love that it shows how much of a hero he is, even when he's reluctant and he's doing everything he can not to turn into the Hulk. He's still got that hero mentality, which I think some of the MCU stuff misses as it had evolved, and he's so for me, I love that aspect of it. It feels like the comic book character, and that desire to be a hero is one of the important things in the film.
When they played, there was one point when he was in Brazil and he was walking, and they played like just for like a few seconds the old theme song.
Oh, yes, very noticeable. There it is. I said.
Oh man,
it's funny because I just read Hicks Villain's comment, and it's like, well, it's funny that I hate saying it like this, but it's totally an obvious joke that the writers have put in there because the MCU loves those kind of jokes, where you're like, ha ha ha, yeah, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, and this one was so refreshing to watch this again because there was some humor, but it wasn't like joke a minute, seemingly improv joke a minute,
Well, it's a weird thing because I had watched this film about a month ago and I hadn't seen it in a long time. Watched all the way through, and I just felt watching it. I just thought, I was like, wow, it really feels like they put all their eggs into one movie, not going, hey, we're gonna only until the very end with the end credits thing. But for the most part, the whole movie is its own movie, and it doesn't rely on all the other stuff. When they just go, let's shoehorn this guy here. And I think too much of that. It was cute at the beginning, but too much of that it gets a little exhausting.
Yeah. And like you said too, I mean, kind of the elements that did not continue on. I mean, the whole thing with Betty. It's like, man, they just dropped her like a bad habit. They just dropped again, and then you had the leader.
Oh
my goodness.
Yeah, that's one of the disappointing things that they've never brought back. It's a strange thing to me also that they haven't done a Hulk movie, an independent, a solo Hulk movie in the last 10 years.
I heard it has something to do with Universal, like rights.
Oh.
To do an entire Hulk movie. I heard it has something to do with that. But
so you see Hicks Villain's comment here. It says the leader from Norton's Hulk is going to be in the Falcon Cap movie.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Here we go.
Oh, okay. And it's it's very funny because I feel like I'm starting to really divert away from the MCU because there's all kinds of things going on that I have been missing. I saw recently about the Black Panther Wakanda Forever is going to be out this year, and I was like, how did I not even know that was coming? I'd seen a little bit, pre-production, and they were starting to kind of hype it, but I've kind of lost my attention span on when their stuff is coming out, and I know they've got a lot of shows too, and I'm not really following that, but
yeah, there's a lot of stuff coming out. Like I do watch She-Hulk with my son because he likes to watch that. It is what it is. And and we went to Disney Plus, and there's this show called Andor.
I watched
it's a Star Wars show. There was three episodes. I didn't even know this thing was out. It's like a Rogue One character.
You got to be a fan to follow it.
Really?
So we're just always be on Disney Plus.
Yeah. To Eric's comment, it's a very interesting thing that they do seem to be shifting around how they're treating the Hulk, because the Endgame Hulk and the one that they kind of dropped in on Shang-Chi, he's back to being, they basically stated that he was the full-time Hulk in Endgame, and then they just have the regular Bruce Banner show up with a broken arm. And maybe I'm not paying attention to what everything is going on, and maybe She-Hulk will explain some of this stuff, but I followed up, and Endgame may have been for me the end of really following closly to the MCU.
Maybe it was a mistake to call it Endgame.
A little bit too spot on.
It's unfortunate, but there were a lot of parts of that were still great about Endgame, but a lot that I disagreed with. Just fundamentally, I'm not a time travel solves your problems kind of fan. And I don't know. I mean, it feels like they do tend to have a little bit of that. I feel like a lot of their creative directions are splintering, and it feels like they wrap them up like some other creative team is fixing problems that other people are creating in one film, and then they're shifting to try to like fix them, and then they're going in a different direction. And I don't know, maybe it's just that's the trouble with a multiverse, but it's feeling very splintered and not as cohesive as that probably the first 10 years of the MCU.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think that's kind of well said, Higgs Villain. I mean, that was really the end of an era, in game.
Oh yeah.
And it feels like everything else is trying to find its way, but it's just mired in so much stuff. It's hard to swallow.
Which, I mean, that to me, that's one of the things that makes the Incredible Hulk so good, is that they didn't have, I guess they hadn't figured out the formula, and instead they just made a good movie.
Exactly.
I
heard that the last scene with Tony Stark, they just kind of, I guess, was it William Hurt and Robert Downey Jr. They just came up with that. They just they pretty much improvised a lot. I guess they worked with each other and they figured it out, but they didn't know exactly what they were going to do. That was going to lead into whatever's next. Because what's the next picture after that? The next picture would be Iron Man 2, right?
I think so.
Thor?
Yeah.
Maybe Thor?
No, Thor was after Iron Man 2 because it had the end credit scene was a hammer.
Was the hammer.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Yeah, the whole Adam Warlock thing was backwards. They teased Adam Warlock, I think in the second Guardians of the Galaxy, but then he was nowhere to be found, during the, Infinity Gauntlet, during that whole crisis. So it's
that's
why bring him now? He's got no function.
Well, that's the funny thing is I realized when I was reading, I remember watching some of the movies, and they were presenting some of the villains, and my first thought was, oh, this guy's way more powerful than this. I was like, when they showed the Collector, I was like, Collector's way more powerful than this. When they showed the Grand Master, I was like,
oh yeah,
the Grand Master is super powerful. But the thing is, it's the movie version. So, and then I was wondering, because there's Thanos. First, I'm wondering, oh, well, where's Adam Warlock? And then I was wondering, where's Star Fox? Yeah,
that takes us down a bad path.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Harry Styles is Star Fox now.
Oh boy. Okay.
Oh, you didn't see the? Oops, sorry. Spoiler.
No, I'm just saying, because Thanos and Star Fox are brothers. So I was like,
yeah,
why wouldn't they have shown Star Fox? So, galaxy ending, snapping of the fingers and all that. Star Fox and Adam Warlock show up and they do something.
That works in
do something.
Yeah. So I was like, wait a minute, what is going on here? Yeah. But I enjoyed I enjoyed more movies than I thought I would, actually. Captain Marvel, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of an unpleasant surprise. Because Marvel was dope back in the day.
Yeah, so I was, I was a little confused.
Yeah. It's funny because with the whole thing with Marvel, because that was a comic I read at Herb Dean's where Marvel fought, oh my gosh, it was the guy that gave him cancer, the guy that could explode. He was a villain that basically was like a bomb, and he could go off, and he basically went off like an atom bomb on Captain Marvel, and that's how Marvel got cancer that he eventually died from. And so he got the cancer, and that's one of the things that they kind of kept to the continuity that he got the cancer, then they did the whole Infinity thing, then he got kind of overtaken with the cancer and he died.
So at what period in Marvel is it? Is this the Shooter period?
Yes.
See, and that's why, because Jim Shooter is not going to let them just do something and make it go away. He's like, no, you have to stick to it. You did it.
Yeah, you shot this dude with a whole bunch of radiation.
Yeah, because he was all about Jim Shooter. Because I've heard different professionals, and they've said all kinds of things working with him. But I'm saying, as a fan, I don't know anything about working with it. Just as a fan, that was the period of Marvel that I liked the most, because there was and it was a very short time in retrospect now, but there was a cohesive storyline throughout all the books, and there was no what I like to say, there's no cheating.
Yeah,
and that's why I don't like time travel, because time travel is just cheating.
Yeah, it is such a cheap. It's like, how are we going to get out of this?
Mulligan.
Deus Ex Machina.
Mulligan.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, it's funny because, as stories go, a time travel movie has got to stay within a short realm for me. I mean, Back to the Future, Bill and Ted's. I mean, because if you get too far into creating, paradox and things like that, it gets really, really off the rails for me too quickly. And even with what the Marvel Universe MCU did with it, they kept it pretty capsulated, and they tried to say, oh no, we're just keeping it we're going to return it all to one timeline. And then, there's still the blip that they started calling it, 5 years, that some people just lost 5 years. And it feels like the kind of problem that some writers want to deal with, and the other problem, and other writers are like, oh, why did that guy do that? Because now we got to deal with this. And so they're going to try to ignore it or just kind of play it off real fast. And so it does start to make for all these inconsistencies between, and how you have to explain, well, what were they doing? If you weren't gone, what were you doing? If you were gone, I guess, did that affect, I mean, you think about how that would actually affect people, and you can get really deep with it. And I don't know that I want that out of an MCU movie. Like, to lose your 5 years of your daughter's life when Ant-Man comes back, and I don't want to see him actually deal with it, because to me it would freak people out. I mean, I don't know how I would deal with my child advancing 5 years older without me seeing it. And it's fine I just don't know that I need to see comic books deal with that. I'm sure there's a great drama that you could write, and I would watch that movie, but
I have to agree with Eric the Guapo here. Yeah, Back to the Future did time travel right,
And the fact that they reference it just makes me want to turn off Endgame and go watch that movie.
Yeah, or that's
because yeah, but so that was that's my take on it, and it's I guess I'm still waiting for the MCU to kind of find its direction again, and maybe I'm hoping that
it may have jumped the shark, dude.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to stay positive, because being creative and wanting to create something, I've gotten to that point where you're like, maybe this, it hurts to say maybe Marvel movies aren't for me. I can't say it.
They've had their run,
so
to speak.
But it feels kind of like, David and I talk about that Jim Shooter era where everything continuity was, and I'm sure as a creative those writers hated it. And being told you can't use this character, he's fighting with Spider-Man the same month, you'd be like, a writer could be like, well, why can't I just have him over here? And so I can see where it can be difficult to hold that kind of continuity in an entire universe.
Think about it. Shooter pretty much told everybody to leave all the mutants to one guy. I mean, Claremont had all the X-Men to himself. Really, he didn't have to really. Nobody could really play in that sandbox with him. It was just Claremont.
Nitro. Yeah, I remember that guy.
Yeah, he was the man who explodes.
That's right.
And he exploded and filled Captain Marvel with radiation.
Oh.
No, but you're right, because even that. So during kind of that real heyday when Claremont was writing the X-Men, I think even at that time, maybe like Paul Smith was doing some of the pencils. They did like the miniseries. They did the Wolverine miniseries, and Claremont wrote that, and Frank Miller was the artist on that. So I mean, Claremont controlled everything.
Yeah,
that was mutant related.
Yeah. Yeah, he controlled their thoughts.
he was the Professor X.
So many thoughts.
I mean, yeah. That's a lot for one guy to have that kind of power, and I'm not saying it was wrong, because in the wrong hands, that could have gone really bad. But
I think he wielded it well, though.
Yeah, I love those stories, and I can still go back to them. I mean, I guess I do need to go back and read more of them and see how it.
Yeah, I was just it's funny. I was just reading this one.
Oh, nice.
Because I was.
Oh yeah.
It all stemmed from I was rewatching the X-Men animated series all over again. I binged that because of stupid Disney Plus. Force it down my throat, and then I was so intrigued by Mr. Sinister. I was like, when did Mr. Sinister first appear? And so I looked it up, and it's online. It said he was mentioned in this and the first time of his mention was X-Men 212, Uncanny X-Men 212, and there it is.
Wow, nice. Well, gentlemen, we are over the hour mark.
We got to get back to our family.
Oh,
yes.
Way too fast.
It went way too fast, and we were having way too much
I'm
fun.
not even done with my Hulk.
Let's see what you got.
Nice.
See what you got.
Well, it's just just starting.
Oh, that's
awesome. Let's go.
I didn't get to the head. At least I wanted to get to the head, but show the angry face.
Yeah.
Tomorrow. Oh, not tomorrow. Next time.
Yeah, next time.
You're going to be on my stream next month.
That's right.
Thank you, John.
That's right.
Hervey.
Yes, indeed.
So everyone look out for that.
Yep. And if you haven't checked out Nephilim Squadron, you need to. I mean, all the influences are awesome. I mean, if you love Robotech, you like Mel knocks himself out with the book. If you like Robotech, if you like
this book will knock your socks off. You'll get be careful reading it. You're
like Mobius.
There's so much action and a lot of story, a lot of character development. There's a whole arc. There's a beginning, a middle, and end in just this one issue.
So get it.
Nice.
It tells a succinct story, but it's also just the beginning of a larger tale. And I highly recommend it because I wrote it.
Exactly. So back it. I'm not just talking. I backed it.
Yes,
So
thank you, John.
Yes.
And yours is coming soon. And I also have your we were talking about X-Men, the Aurora sketch, Storm sketch that is coming with that package too.
Yes, sir. Let's
It's
go.
buried right now, and there's some stuff I don't want to go digging to look for it right now.
Okay, man. I'm looking forward to that. That's right. That's the goodies.
Yeah.
Well, appreciate everybody. And until next week, we are out of here.
Thanks, everybody.
Ciao, babies.
See you later.